This is a video to help you find the least common multiple and the greatest common factor for a pair of numbers. I use a skill called upside down division to find both the least common multiple and greatest common factor. And the reason I use it, it's probably the easiest way. It helps me decide what goes into numbers and that sort of thing. So I like to use upside down division. The way I do it is I always start by making my upside down division bar. Then I ask myself, what number will go into both 24 and 28? And since they're both even, I know that a 2 will go into both of them. So I put the 2 on the side over there, and then I say 24 divided by 2 is what? And I'm going to make it 12 underneath there, and because 24 divided by 2 is 12, and then 28 divided by 2 is what? And I'll put a 14 under there because I know that 28 divided by 2 is 14. Then what I do next is there any numbers that go into 12 and 14? And 2 does. So I'll put another 2 along the side there, and I say 12 divided by 2 is 6, 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then I ask one last time, is there any numbers that go into both 6 and 7? And the only number that goes into both 6 and 7 is 1. So if 1 is the only number that goes into both of the numbers, then I'm all done. Now to find the greatest common factor, what I do is I just multiply the two numbers down that side. So I take 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. To find the least common multiple, I multiply the L. I multiply all the numbers along that L. So I take 2 times 2 times 6 times 7. Okay, so if I do that, I get 42 is 6 times 7 and 4. So 42 times 4 is going to be 168. So the greatest common factor and the least common multiple of those two, the greatest common factor is 4, and the least common multiple is 168. Okay, I'm going to stop the video right now, or I want you to pause the video and try and do the next one and see if you can do that. Okay, let's see how we did. So the first thing I do is I make my upside down division bar, and I ask myself what numbers go into both 20 and 35. And since 20 and 35 end in a 5 and a 0, I know that 5 goes into both of them. So I put the 5 outside there. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 35 divided by 5 is 7. And the only number that goes into 4 and 7 is going to be 1. So I'm all done. So my greatest common factor for those two will just be 5, because that's the only number on the side over there. And then my least common multiple is going to be 5 times 4 times 7. And that's going to be equal to 5 times 4 is 20 times 7 is 140. So that is how I did that one. I'm going to give you one more chance to do it. So go ahead and pause the video and try and do number 27. Let's see how we did. So I make my upside down division bar, and I ask myself what goes into 28 and 49. 28 and 49, I know the factors of 28 are 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 28. And I can count out all those even ones because there's no way an even number can go into 49. But I know 49 is 7 times 7, and I know 7 goes into both of those numbers then. 28 divided by 7 is 4, 49 divided by 7 is 7. And the only number that goes into 4 and 7 is 1. So I know my greatest common factor of those two is 7. And my least common multiple of those two is 4 times 7 times 7. So when I multiply all those together, because that's the L, I guess I put them in different orders, but I just said 4 times 7 times 7. You can go 7 times 4 times 7, and it's the same thing. Well, the way I would multiply this is 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 4 is 196. So the greatest common factor and least common multiple of those numbers is 196 for the least common multiple and 7 for the greatest common factor.